Hi, welcome back. My name is Tamika,
And I'm Eric.
and we are Married
Married
in
in
Real
real
Life.
life. What we talking about today?
Mama's babies, daddy's maybes.
Mm,
This gonna be this gonna be something else today.
mm,
Just to give a backstory, um, I had my first child when I was 17. Of course, being a teenage mom, not really understanding yourself because you are still young, still trying to figure it out. It was really tough because you don't know the responsibilities of being a parent. You haven't even started experiencing life yet. But that was something that happened, and so the choice was made, and that's something that we had to deal with. Now, I ended up having my daughter, so that made me have a son and a daughter, of course. And at some point, I became a single parent. And we all know that being a single parent is rough because we talked about you being a single dad, me being a
mm-hmm.
single mom. But what I did not anticipate was the father of my kids to be an absentee parent. We were high school sweethearts, so when your high school sweetheart, you think it's gonna be forever. You think it's gonna last forever. So you
Mm-hmm.
think that whatever happens, we're gonna be able to make it through it because you are young and you don't know any better.
Young and dumb.
Yeah, as a single parent, it was rough. And I will say, for a period of time, my family, my grandmothers, aunts, cousins, stood in the gap while I was trying to figure it out. But that was on a temporary situation, and at some point, I had to be old enough and mature enough to figure it out. It was not a lifetime thing. It was only to allow me the time, and thank God for them, allow me the time to get it together. Right? So that was a blessing all in itself. Although I did not have the kids by myself, um, I at some point had to figure it all out by myself. Okay, so everybody that has been a single parent understands the how hard it is as a single parent, and when you are a single parent and you don't have any assistance from the absentee parent, it makes it that much harder.
Mm.
Like I said, that wasn't what I was anticipating. That wasn't what I had planned for, but that was what happened. And so that was the hand that I was dealt. So it was no sense in crying over spilled milk. It was just, now you got to put your big girl panties on and you got to do what you got to do for your kids. So that's what I did. I feel like absent parents have this thing where if the kids is with their mom or with their dad in your case, that they're okay and I don't have to do anything, that they good. So I'm just gonna pop in when it's convenient for me. I, I'm a parent over the phone. I don't know how you get to do that, but I don't even know how that's done.
It's
Okay.
impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a parent over the phone. I'll, send them a pair of shoes for school. I'll, maybe buy them a few things for Christmas. I may pay my child support, but that's about the extent of what I'm going to do. And it's so unfair to the number one, the children.
Mm-hmm.
It's so very unfair because number one, as far as the children goes, every child, like we said about you, every child desires their mom and dad. And mom and dad may not, maybe they can't get along and stay together. But the promise to the child should be no matter what happens to mom and dad, we are going to be the best parents that we can be to you. And when that doesn't happen, it truly affects the kids. Whether the child admits it or not, you see it in behaviors, you see it in schoolwork, you hear it in conversations. Kids long for their parents with an S.
Mm-hmm.
No matter who comes in, they still desire their biological parents. And no matter how you could go away for 20 years and never speak to them and come back, they still gonna love you just like you was there every day, right? So that's the love that a child has for their parents. But unfortunately, sometimes the love, I'm not going to say the parent doesn't love them, but that type of love isn't reciprocated because if it was, you wouldn't be absent. You would be present in your kid's life. And so for a child to have that maturity to know that, and for the adult to have the immaturity not to step up and do the right things, that's the problem all in itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as a single mom, of course, that's the hand that I was dealt, and that's what I did, of course, until we met, which gave me a whole different perspective on baby daddies. When you um, came into our lives, well, my life first, and then of course, meeting the kids. As a parent as a dad that had his son with him, I think for both me and my kids, seeing you as the example, didn't really, for me, I knew because I was old enough to know. But I think that also, although my kids are very appreciative of you and love you, I also think that for them to see you, it kind of hurts to see like dad will eat with his dad, and we may not see our dad for weeks or sometimes even months at a time. Lil E is with his dad all the time, especially in TJ case. He see you with your son, doing things with Lil E. Lil E's talking about things y'all used to do together, and he may not be able to say those same things, and maybe he didn't verbalize it, but that didn't mean he didn't internalize it. Now I know without a shadow of a doubt our children are gonna take care of their kids, but that's the type of thing that the absentee parent doesn't understand. Mm-hmm. That you don't know how what you do or don't do will affect your children. And not to say that I was a perfect parent, but I took care of my kids. Okay, mm-hmm. So going back to my question to you, how did you feel coming in seeing me as a single mom, you knowing what you're doing for your son and thinking, Dad, if my baby mama could, if she was half the mom, right? Or in my case, Dad, if he was just helping out a quarter of the way, mm-hmm. how much more beneficial it would have been to the kids. So you stepping in, seeing that situation, what is your perspective on that?
Well, first let me say you was and still is a hell of a mom.
Thank you.
And like you say, but like we say, parenting is on the job training. Mm-hmm. So just the way you was raising your kids, and the way I had to raise Lil E. Mm-hmm. In a sense, you had to prepare the kids. Say like Lil E was 10. Mm-hmm. He was being raised like he was a teenager, mm-hmm. like he was 16, mm-hmm. 17. Mm-hmm. I had to instill certain things in him, mm-hmm. to prepare him for times when I couldn't be around him. Mm-hmm. Like if I had to be at work and he had to be at home by himself, he just had to be prepared for, mm-hmm. a lot of stuff. He shouldn't have. That should have came later on in his, mm-hmm. life. But we got through all that. But you as a single parent, I ain't gonna say you were struggling, but it's hard on one parent, mm-hmm. when one parent got to do everything. Mm-hmm. So I just looked at it like we was cool. Mm-hmm. Our relationship was growing, it was blossoming. Mm-hmm. But then when me and Lil E met your kids, I mean, it was just different. It was, mm-hmm. like it just felt like we was family. Mm-hmm. So, and I just tried to incorporate TJ and Misha, mm-hmm. and Lil E like we was just there from, right. the beginning. Right. So I wasn't trying to step on nobody's toes. I was just trying to help you raise your, mm-hmm. kids to be the best young adults that they could, mm-hmm.
be. And you did.
Well, thank you. Mm-hmm. But I just feel like even though me and you was raising the kids, the biological parents could have made it a whole lot, mm-hmm. easier by just doing their part. Yeah. We ain't asked them to do what we was doing. We just asked them to do their part, which would have been minimal. Yeah. All they had to do was call the kids every now and then, show up when they were, mm-hmm. supposed to, just little, yeah. stuff like that. Yeah. And somehow, some way that this ain't happening.
I feel like absentee parents, they do a good job of avoiding running the race, but they want to show up at the finish line. Mm-hmm. They want to cheer when you get to the end.
And claim the prize.
Yes. Yeah. My kids spend a lot of time raising themselves. Mm-hmm. But thank God they didn't do I'm pretty sure they did a lot of things that I did not catch, but thank God that they kept it to a minimum, you know. But I feel like it took away from their childhood. Children should just enjoy being kids.
Yeah.
And I know that sometimes that's impossible. Sometimes the parent is away and they can't be there. But when you right there and you can be, then you be. And even if you are away, it don't hurt you to pick up the phone every day. You did your homework yet? Did you eat today? What you eat? How was school today? You know, it's a phone call. So that didn't require you to be next door to me. That just required you picking up the phone. But when you go weeks, because you don't know if your kids even know, you don't know nothing about your kids. You know? So I just feel like it just made my job as a mom that much harder when it could have been real easy. Let's raise these kids. Feel how you want to feel about me, but let's raise these kids. Let's give them the best life that they could ever live. The life that maybe you wanted for yourself, that you didn't have. So now you get the second chance to do that because now you have kids. So you provide that opportunity for your child. But then what you end up doing is you set your own kids up, depending upon the other parent, how well they taking care of them, for struggles when it don't have to be that way. You want your kids to feel, whether me and your mama together or not, you want your kids to feel so empowered they feel like they can conquer the world because they know mama and daddy got my back. Not mama struggling to have my back, so I and daddy, he may show up, or mama might show up. You don't want that. You want to give your kids the best life experience that they can have. But say this, and I say it all the time, both parents are equally responsible for the kids, whether you're in the house with the child or not. Both parents are equally responsible.
You know, you lay down and have kids, you know that you're responsible for them.
Yeah, that's a logical way of thinking.
Yeah, I mean, it should be that simple. But,
yeah.
You know, people can move around how they want to, so they can take that, like, I guess they can dip in and dip out if they want to, but parenting, you can't dip in and dip out.
No, you can't dip in and dip out when you want to. Yeah. It's not a clock in, clock out job.
Yeah, because the kids there 24/7.
Yeah.
So you need to be a parent 24/7.
Parents are the first love that a child knows, and so when you are absent and you ain't showing love, and let me be very clear. When I say absent parents, I'm not saying parents there are parents that, you know, the dad may be in another state, mom in one state, you know, but the dad is, like I said, he own it. He don't miss a beat. It's just that, you know, the mom and dad ain't work out, that somebody else moved on, but the dad is on point. They don't miss a beat. It's just that they may be somewhere else, not right there with the kids, right? In an ideal situation, you would want it to be different, but sometimes it don't work like that. But the dad still does what he needs to do for his child at the best way he can based on the circumstances. So I'm not talking about that. When I say absent, I mean your tail is absent, okay? When I say absent, I mean you are absent, right? That you ain't showing up to the football games. You ain't making them phone calls. You ain't seeing, your kids may hear from you 1 week and may not hear from you for 6 or 7 weeks later, right? That's what I'm talking about when I say absent.
But even if the parent don't live in the same city, the same state as a kid, you still can call every other day, seeing that they did their homework, if they need anything, if they ate.
And we didn't have like FaceTime. Well, if they did, I ain't know nothing about doing no FaceTime when we was raising the kids. But now it's even easier because now you got FaceTime. I can help you with your homework via FaceTime. We get on a Zoom call and do your homework. Like, literally, there are so many ways that you can communicate with your child now that there's no excuse, no matter where you are. Unless you're somewhere where you don't got no phone, no computer, no Wi-Fi, you're on a special assignment or something where you can't. But outside of that, there is no excuses why you can't be a parent to your child. That's just, how I feel. And our kids are grown now. They doing well. We made it through all of that. But I feel like it could have been a lot different. You can't go back and change nothing. You got to deal with the hands, the cards that you're dealt.
This is just for the men out there. I was raised without a father. So I couldn't imagine myself having kids or a kid and not being there to raise my kid. Because if you understood everything that you went through as a child, as far as your other parent not being there, why would you do that to your kids? And I can't hang with nobody that don't take care of their kids. I mean that's just how I'm wired. Men, we got to do better. We got to be there for our kids. We don't want a bunch of young kids running around here just running wild, not having any manners, no morals. That's on us. So we just got to do a better job.
And piggyback off what you said, you don't know who may land in the house with your kids, because you don't know who the mama may end up dating that may be abusive to your kids, might be mistreating your kids. As if you don't have a relationship with your kids, you wouldn't know what's going on with your children. Or if you absent, you don't know what's going on from the time you see them until the time you see them again. So you got to think about what could happen to your kids in a household when the mom picks another man that may not be the best choice of a man. And you know, as women, we go through things sometimes. Sometimes love blinds us. It's situations where that happens, where the man beats on the mama and the kids. So the mama scared of them as well as the kids. And so if you those are the type of situations that you put your kids in, being an absent parent, because you don't know what's gonna come out of that.
And the worst part about it, by you being absent, you like you say, you don't know what's going on.
You don't know what's going on, and you know like I said, those situations happen every single day. Women get involved in relationships, abusive relationships. The man got them scared to death, got the children scared to death. The kids, they don't know if they're coming or going half the time. They can't focus. It throws them all the way off. But when you're absent, you don't know them. We hear these stories all the time. We see it on the news all the time. So it's not something that's irrational. It happens. But that's the situation that you put your kids in when you are absent. So you need to be on top of what's going on with your kids at all times. Therefore, you know how to react. If the mama, if she in an abusive relationship, she chooses to stay, I'm coming to get my kids. Okay, you can do whatever you want to do, I'm coming to get my kids. But if you're not there, you don't know that, and it just makes it bad for the mom as well as the kids, but more so the children, because they are innocent in the situation. So those are the things that happen when you are an absentee parent that you may not think about until, something unfortunately happens, or when the kids get old enough to tell you how they feel themselves, then you feel the heat of me being absent as a parent. So, my suggestion as a female, women, if you're in that situation, we know what to do. We're going to do the best that we can. And that's the only thing that we can do. I have been blessed beyond measures to, have met you, married you. You came in, stepped right on in, and kept on, as a single parent. You went from a parent of one to a parent of three, right? And you had that thing just like it was a piece of cake.
I know what I do.
I know that's right, boo. I know that's right. That's the type of man that you are. We appreciate it. It made it a whole lot easier on me, to now not have to be so stern. I can loosen up. It enabled me to be able to relax as a parent because now I had someone else to help me. It enabled the kids to that they can be relaxed because mom, she tripping.
They can actually be kids.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. So it opened the doors for a much better situation. So yeah, we are stressed as a single parent, whether you're the single mom or your case single dad, you are stressed out because everything falls on you, and you feel like it's unfair because what you doing over there, sir? You living your best life. You get to do whatever you want to do. You don't think about, the kids got practice today. I got to hurry and get out of work. I got to run to get this. Or can my child catch a ride with your son? And next time you drop him off, I'll pick him up. You don't think about all these things. You're just living your life and whatever you want to do. And it's unfair. It's very unfair. But unfortunately, and nobody picks that situation, right? Nobody picks that situation. So like you said, pillow talking, you don't expect it. It hits you. It's like a blindsided thing. Now, if you know better and you choose to have kids by the person, that's on you. But, I just didn't see that. And so Unfortunately, that's what it ended up being, but we made it through. We made it through.
We better for it.
We're exactly right.
Better for it.
It built us.
And the kids are better for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and I forgot to add this one though. The one that really be getting you though
What?
is that you don't take care of your kids. You know, men that don't take care of their children, they will go and get a whole nother family of children that's not their children and raise those kids as if they raise those kids better than they raise their own kids. Think about that. Think about how your kids see that, you know, as children. Like my dad, when he got a whole nother family, and he doing more for them kids over there than he doing for me. Think about how that is on your
kids. That's putting childhood trauma on your kids.
Yeah.
Plus, as they get older, and they don't deal with it, they're gonna carry that trauma into adulthood. Then, if they have kids, you know, it's
a cycle.
Yeah.
Yes, and you know, you then preferably your kids break the cycle, but how you have the galls to go and take care of somebody else's children, another man's children, better than you would take care of your own children?
As a man, I can't understand.
Exactly. I don't understand the concept.
Before I take care of somebody else's, I'm gonna take care of mine.
Amen.
I can take care of somebody else's, but
I'm gonna take
care of mine.
Exactly. Because to me, if you're in the house with kids, maybe you don't know, if you're not really in the house with your children, you may not understand how it is to be in the house with kids, right? Maybe you left early in a situation and you don't know how it is to be in the house with the kids. But when you get in a situation with another woman who is a single parent, like you came in a situation with me, but you already knew about the single parent because you was a single parent, but you come to a situation where you see the mom, you like, man, it should click. Something should click and say, oh yeah, I got to step my game up when it comes to my kids, because if you, as my woman, going through all this with your kids, I can about imagine how it is with my, with my baby mama with my kids. And it seems like that would make you want to step your game up to be a better parent for the simple fact that you are now in a situation where you see it firsthand how that woman has to deal as a single parent. Because maybe you want to go on a date, or maybe you want to rub on her, but you can't do it because, hey, my kid's here, or I got to take my son here, or I got to take my daughter there, or you see what's going on. You see her trying to balance life and raising her children. So if you see that, it should make you, if you have children, somehow or another you have not been there the way that you're supposed to, it should make you then think really hard about being better for your kids, knowing that I see this woman struggling, so I know that
it shouldn't just make you think. It should make you
react,
put some action to it. Yeah,
it should be natural. It should be just a natural reaction. But I mean, it's sad that you would have to get in a situation to see that. But if you don't get it no other way, that should be a telltale sign that.
And not to cut you off, but I'm just gonna say this for the single people. If you dating somebody that have kids and they don't never have their kids, that's a red flag.
Yeah. And they will definitely tell you it's the other part. Oh, she a crazy baby mama. She a bitter baby mama. She this, she that. Ain't no excuse in the world why you don't see your kids. You gonna have to do the paperwork with the courts because we gonna have to do it. We can do it the easy way, which we can do it amongst each other, or we can do it the hard way. But what I'm not gonna do is not be around my kids. Not gonna be in the life of my children. And I don't care what come hell or high water. That's the way it should be. So when you get in a situation as a female and you see that this man is not doing right by their kids, or if you got to be constantly saying, when you gonna get your kids? When I'm gonna see your kids? You ain't seen your kids in a minute. When the last time you saw your kids?
Something wrong with
That's something wrong. And for you to then have kids by them, it's something wrong with you too. I'm sorry, because do you trust and believe the sign is already there? They can give you. Ain't nothing no different about you than it is about me.
And I'm gonna just say this too. A lot of women, I'm gonna say a lot of women, because it be men too that be bitter after relationships don't work out, and in some cases the woman might be like, well, since we ain't together, I ain't gonna let you see our kids or whatever. That's what the court system's for.
Yeah.
And soon as I had a problem like that with my son's mother, I went to court and and got
And as you
custody of them.
should.
So that's just an excuse
Excuse.
for men not to see their
Mhm.
kids, just to let a woman say, "Well, you can't see your
Yeah.
kids. You got the right to see your kids."
Yeah.
So that's just a.
It's no excuses.
Mhm.
It's no excuse. I'll be standing outside your door every day. Or if I gotta stay in the street, I'll be standing in the street every day. I'm gonna see my kids. You're not gonna keep me from seeing my kids, bitter or not. And then I will do the work. But see, that's just they wait for that. To me, when you settle for that, you ain't really cared one way or the other, no way. That would just give you more power to say, hey, you know, my baby mama, she acting crazy. I ain't got time to be dealing with her. Like you said, that's what the court system for. You go to court to see your kids.
That's just an easy cop out for
you would stay in jail messing with me when it comes to mass. So yeah, I think that unfortunately these are situations that happen, and the only people that hurt the most are the children because they carry it with them for their life. It does not. You be in your 40s and 50s, you still yearn for that relationship with your parent. Whether it happens or not, you still miss that and you want it. Whether you try to, you attempt to have it and it don't work out, or you just it never happens. But it doesn't mean it takes that yearning away because your parents are a part of you. And that's why when people, you know, maybe you in a situation where you never met your parent and then you want to meet your parent, and whether you want to meet them to close that situation off, or whether you want to meet them because you truly, genuinely want to have a relationship with them. But at some point in your life, no matter what the circumstances is, unless something tragic happens to the other parent that they obviously can't be in your life. But if they are alive and you know that they're alive, you still want to get some form of closure or to see if there is a possible way to have a relationship. I mean, there's a million different situations, but at the end of the day, every child, even growing into an adult, longs for the love and relationship of a parent. Whether it happens or not, you still want it because number one, you need it. Because you need it for you can grow on, you can say it all you want to, and you can move on, and you can do whatever you want to do. But I feel like everybody needs that closure. It helps them into your adulthood. It helps you. So yeah, I don't think, you know, people realize it and people go on with their lives. These absentee parents, they're going with their lives and they live their best life, and the kids are just, you know, you just claim them when it's convenient for you. But you get old one day.
Yeah.
And then when your kids start claiming you when it's convenient for them, it becomes a problem.
Then your feelings get hurt.
Yeah. So we just have to be mindful of that. So yeah. Again, any last words?
No.
No last words. Well, you guys, that's all we have on this episode of Married in Real Life.